Tell us how it ends.
Hey, it's Sebastian for the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by
Bob James with the band Silent Theory.
you guys have been around for 10 years and now making waves not only in the USA, worldwide. What do you put this down to?
Honestly, I think it's just a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding as far as just, playing a lot of shows, doing our best to get our name out there. We've been lucky enough to have a fair amount of success online with both streaming services and YouTube videos and things like that. So, we've definitely been blessed in that area of like, especially when it comes to reaching places like the UK and Brazil and Germany and stuff like that, like establishing fan bases, places that we haven't yet been able to get to. These different tools have been really instrumental in that.
That's brilliant. I mean, YouTube does make a hell of a difference, doesn't it? And Spotify and all of that. Absolutely. Can you tell us how well was, tell us how it ends has been received from media and fans so far?
Yeah, so Tell Us How It Ends is our most recent album release. We released it on Friday, September 13th. So it's been out for a few weeks now, and so far the reception has been outstanding. It came out, debuted on iTunes. Rock List is number two on their charts, and I have to assume that's based off of like pre-sales and downloads and things like that. So like we're definitely grateful for people who've joined us in the excitement of the album coming out. But yeah, I think in general the reception's been very positive.
So, what sort of fan base have you got then that being sort of like taking notice? Is it new metal fans, Linkin Park fans, people like that?
Yeah, that definitely makes up quite a good segment of it. I mean, honestly, we have a really broad demographic, which we're really excited about because, I mean, for a long time, it's always been like, some of the older people and like people who really like, a little bit of that like 80s, 90s heavy metal, as well as some of the new metal stuff. But recently, we've been seeing a lot more like younger people coming out to the shows that are a lot more used to, some of the newer hard rock bands. So, we're pretty excited about growing in that direction as well.
Brilliant. Swept Away is my favorite track on the album today, which is yours and why.
Ooh, that is a great pick on your part. That is a really great song. I don't know. I just there's this has been a fun album because like we've written probably some of our heaviest songs ever on here. So like Made Me This Way is a great song and like probably one of the heaviest songs we've made to date. And that one is a ton of fun to play live. But of songs that haven't been played live yet, I think Humans also a really great song too. It's just got a kind of that like little catchy, got a little bit of backbeat and stuff like that, get your head bobbing, but still really solid lyrics.
Bro. So will there be any more single releases from this album, do you think?
Um, I don't know. I mean, possibly. I mean, leading up to the release of the album, we released, I think, four singles.
Yeah.
Just kind of, it's kind of the model nowadays is constant, content and make sure you're always releasing and stuff. So I'm sure we'll have something new. I know we just went and recorded a bunch of like acoustic versions of some of these songs with a couple like fun surprises in on that. So it wouldn't be a surprise if we put out some like alternative content, to kind of help keep spreading the word about the album.
It is really difficult, isn't it? Because you got to like just keep constantly updating and constantly, it's just constant. It's a battle. Absolutely. I can't imagine what it's like for a band, let alone just for myself. It's hard. If you don't post something for a week or something, you lose listeners, you lose, and it's just you got to keep
Yeah.
going. It's difficult. All right. Can you then explain the album cover for us?
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those that like we went back and forth and we had a few different options. Once we decided that we were gonna name the album after one of the tracks on the album, we um really kind of put some thought into like what kind of imagery we wanted to go along with that. And originally we had a really like we all really liked it, but we were like, maybe it's sending the wrong message or putting the wrong tone on like, the intended message. But the picture was of somebody sitting in a lawn chair, drinking a beer, basically watching like an atomic bomb blow up like in the distance. And like it came out really cool, but we're like, it's may not be the right tone. And so Scott, we're also really lucky that Scott, who plays lead guitar for us, is also a graphic designer by, trade. And so he was going through a bunch of different options and just kind of for fun, we actually used a couple like AI generators to like just kind of drum up ideas, just putting in random like buzzwords and stuff like that. And Scott was able to kind of take some of those things like, oh, I really like, that kind of idea. And Scott was able to kind of put together like a cool thing that just has a real nice moodiness to it, but kind of fits that subtle aggression kind of that it feeds through the entire album.
Real. So you guys head out on tour in October in the States. Are the hopes to get further field even into Europe then soon?
Yes, we are desperately wanting to get over to Europe. Personally, I've traveled to the UK a few times with my wife, and I absolutely love it over there. Um, but also just the music scene in Europe is still, I feel, a little bit more geared towards people just going out to see who's playing and stuff like that, and going out to just like, hey, I want to go watch music tonight, so I'm gonna go down to the venue or the bar or whatever. Um, Whereas in the US, it's kind of getting back to that a little bit, but like for a long time, it's been like people will only go out if they're intending to see somebody in particular or things like that. So um, it definitely has been a changing market, but yeah, I mean, regardless, we have a lot of really great support over in the UK and Europe and stuff like that. We would love to come over and say hi to y'all.
That'd be cool. Okay, so when you're out on the road, then what do you like the best? What's the worst about being on tour? I guess in the States when you're traveling.
I think the best and worst is like truthfully, we are, kind of just touristy kind of people. And so like when we're on tour, we love to, go find like the weird stuff in little towns and go check that out. Or
Yeah,
also like if you've ever seen pictures of us, we are all kind of hefty fellows. So like we do like to find as many good restaurants and stuff as possible. But um, I think kind of as you alluded to is like we've been doing this for quite a while, but
yeah,
we're now at a point where we all have families and most of the guys have kids and stuff like that. So I think that is the hardest part about touring for us is like that separation with family and stuff because playing shows really is what we got into music to do because it's just a ton of fun and being able to connect with people on that wavelength is pretty special, but it does make it harder when you have family at home.
yeah. I can imagine. Okay, then. So who would be the ultimate band to go out on the road with, dead or alive?
Ooh, that is a great one because there's a lot of, really iconic bands. Because for us, like, we really, we like to try and put as much into our live show as possible because people are going to come out and spend their time and money and stuff like that to hang out with us. We want to try and make it worth their while. And so those are always the bands that we try and like, gravitate towards. Is bands that also really like putting on a show. Um, So I think, there's just some bands like you look at like The Who through like the 60s and 70s, like I such a weird combination of like talent and a willingness to do kind of whatever is ridiculous. So somebody like that, but I think more modern bands, I think Nothing More, Bad Omens, some of those type of bands that like just have really incredible music and then get on stage and put out an incredible show, um, would definitely be somebody I'd like to, witness.
Okay. So with Silent Theory, what's been the most memorable show you've ever played?
Ooh, I think there's a few ways we could answer this, but I think like one of the more special shows that we played was we played a festival here in the States called Incarceration. If you've ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, like
Yeah.
they do the festival like at that old retired prison.
Did they?
So like it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Um, but we were scheduled to play in 2020 and obviously like that all got scrapped and stuff and
Yeah.
we were able to stay on the bill for 2021 when like it kept getting pushed and stuff and they finally were able to have the festival and I think that one was just super cool because There's still a lot of restrictions in place and stuff like that. People necessarily weren't like excited about like, participating in the restrictions, but everybody like came together like, we really want this to work. We don't want it to get shut down. And there's just like a really great sense of camaraderie as far as like we kind of all need this
Yeah,
experience.
totally.
So let's band together, play by the rules, and we can all have it. And so it was a just really cool time. But also just I don't know, anytime you get a chance to play a big festival is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I have to Google that. I'm not know that you did that. That sounds cool. Incarceration, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So talking of sort of COVID, then if you were in isolation for a month, which two albums would you choose to have with you?
Ooh. Um, one album that I could listen to nonstop pretty much every day would be Artist in the Ambulance by Thrice.
Nice.
Um, like that one just always hits right for me. Um, and then honestly, kind of a different direction. I think I'd probably take like Waylon Jennings' greatest hits or something like that, because sometimes
Yeah,
you need a little bit of the other end of the spectrum.
absolutely. So what was the first album then you ever owned? You remember?
Um, yes. So the first album that I ever like bought with a friend where we both kind of pitched in and like, whatever was Dookie by Green Day.
Oh, yeah.
But the first album that I ever bought with my own money that was just like mine was $3 Bills Y'all by Limp Bizkit.
Right.
So that album still has a special place in my heart.
Okay. What was the last song you listened to?
Um, what was playing in the car today? It was California Dreamin' by the Mamas and Papas,
Oh,
actually.
brilliant. Okay. Okay. If there was like a made up heavy metal song about yourself, what would it be called? Like totally made up.
Oh, that is a great question. It would have to be something along the lines of like, uh, let's see. Um, I think it just have to be called like Silly Goose or something. I don't know. Like,
That's cool. All right. Um, can you now then give us four words to describe your band?
four words to describe our band. I would say heavy, melodic, um, hip hop, and lyrics. Those are, kind of things that I think go to all of our songs because, regardless of um, the topic and stuff like that, Dakota is just an incredible like storyteller and things like that. And I think that's part of what people relate to so much is the story that can be applied to their lives and things like that.
Brilliant. Can you tell us then why we should check out Tell Us How It Ends?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage people to check out Tell Us How It Ends. If you are a longtime Silent Theory fan, it is I think it's a great collection of songs. I personally love them all. And it is, like I said, some of our heaviest songs, so it's a little bit new here, but they all sound like Silent Theory. But we also partnered with some different people to do some co-writes on this one, just to kind of see how other people take approach songwriting and stuff like that. So there's some fun like little twists and things like that in the album. And if you've never listened to Silent Theory, I would definitely say Tell Us How It Ends has a little something for everybody. As far as like there's a little bit of a hip hop vibe, there's definitely like the new metal and kind of hard rock vibe, but we also have a few other songs on there that have just kind of a little bit different mood that I think would fit some people.
Brilliant. So now it's like five questions, either or either. So the first one is vinyl or digital.
I have a very large vinyl collection and I love it to death. So I will say vinyl.
Yeah. Pizza or beer.
I would take pizza.
Okay. Yeah, I would these days. Festivals or small intimate gigs?
Ooh, I love a good festival, but I think I'd say small intimate gig.
Okay. Are you guys saints or sinners?
Um, Long term, definitely sinners. I think more like these days we're trying to be more saintly. So,
And the final one is Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, or Kermit the Frog?
oh, Kermit the Frog all day long. Can't can't go wrong with a guy who just strums his banjo sitting on a log.
I know he's cool. He's cool. All right, mate. I want to thank you so much for your time. Do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you are new to Silent Theory or you've been listening to our music for a long time, I definitely encourage you to check out silenttheory.com. There is links to all of our videos as well as our streaming, platforms, whether that's Spotify, Amazon, whatever you listen to. Um, and then we also have a pretty awesome merch store. That we, should you feel so inclined, we have some cool things in there. And then also we have our tour schedule stuff posted on there. So we do have tour dates here in the States here in October. And then, yeah, I mean, we are definitely trying our best to get over to the UK. So we will definitely encourage people to follow us on social media and stuff like that. So if and when we can ever get that together, we would definitely be sharing that out.
We want the sun up in the sky, living our lives just for your eyes. There's something about the dark that's physical, crawling through the cold black digital, victims to the hypothetical. We're slaves to the visuals, bright and subliminal. Light us up again. Tell us how